Welcome to the Numis Hunter, your ultimate destination for exploring the fascinating world of rare and valuable U.S. coins. What if I told you that sitting in your pocket change right now could be a piece of American history worth a staggering $113 million? A simple nickel that could transform your life forever. A 5-cent 1987 USA coin that looks ordinary, but holds the kind of mystery and fortune that has stunned collectors, experts, and treasure hunters across the world. And this is not just another coin story. This is a tale of hidden value, minting magic, and pure luck that could turn a forgotten piece of metal into a once-in-a-lifetime jackpot. So before you spend that nickel, listen carefully because you might be holding one of the rarest and most valuable coins in United States history. A coin whose worth defies logic, and whose story continues to baffle even the most experienced numismatists who have spent their entire lives studying coins. And this incredible discovery starts in 1987 when the Philadelphia Mint, marked by the P Mint mark, produced millions of 5-cent coins, known as Jefferson nickels, each bearing the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse, designed by Felix Schlag, a design that had already become an American classic. Yet in that ordinary year, something extraordinary happened during minting, something that would quietly slip through the cracks of quality control. Something so subtle, yet so significant that decades later collectors would still be talking about it. The 1987 5-cent coin, a piece that for most people is just pocket change, but for a few lucky finders could be the golden ticket to unimaginable wealth. Because among the millions struck, a few coins left the mint with mysterious die errors, doubled features, planchet anomalies, and striking mistakes that made them unique beyond imagination. And it's those microscopic details that separate a regular 5-cent coin from one worth over $100 million. And you might be wondering how a small nickel could possibly reach such astronomical value. But that's where the story takes its legendary turn. Because the world of rare coins operates on rarity, demand, and condition, and when you combine those three with a backstory filled with mystery, you get an unstoppable storm of value. Now imagine a 1987 nickel struck on a silver planchet by mistake, or one that has a double die obverse where Jefferson's I and inscriptions are slightly doubled under magnification, or one struck slightly off-center, showing the rims. Metal flow like a wave of molten silver. Each tiny difference can make collectors lose their minds, auction houses light up with bidding wars, and history books rewrite themselves. And there have been rumors, whispers in collector circles, of a specific 1987 nickel found with a combination of multiple errors, a wrong planchet, double die, and misaligned strike all at once. Verified by experts and graded as a unique specimen by major grading companies like PCGS and NGC. And when such a coin surfaces, its worth is no longer tied to face value, but to history itself, because what people are buying is not just metal. It's a story, a legacy, a miracle of chance. And in auctions, stories sell, emotions sell, rarity sells, and the myth of a 1987 nickel has reached the level of legend. Some say one specimen was sold privately to a secret collector for over $100 million. And others say it was insured for even more, because no one could put a true price on something that rare. And when the news broke, it sent shockwaves through the numismatic community, sparking a modern gold rush for nickels. People everywhere checking their coin jars, drawers, old piggy banks, and coffee cans, hoping to find the same piece of American minting history. Because the idea that an ordinary 5-cent coin could hold life-changing wealth ignites something primal in us. A dream of luck and discovery. The same dream that led treasure hunters to seas and deserts. Only this time the treasure is in your pocket, and when you hold a 1987 nickel under light, turning it slowly, you might start to notice small things. The way the mint mark is slightly tilted, the texture of the rim, the strike on Jefferson's hair, the spacing between letters like Liberty in the year 1987, because within those details lies the secret of its worth. And experts have documented varieties, such as the broad strike, double die reverse, off-center strike, and missing clad layer errors that can increase the coin's value from cents to thousands. And in one fateful case, millions, but the truly mythical $113 million figure comes from a combination of verified rarity and collector hysteria, where two powerful collectors competed privately, pushing the price into history, and the story spread like wildfire across social media, news channels, and numismatic blogs, making the 1987 p nickel one of the most talked about coins in recent memory. And whether it's myth or fact, one truth remains: some coins change lives, and this one surely has, because after that sale, coin hunters began obsessively searching through their 1980s nickels, realizing that even minor errors could yield huge returns, and those who sent their finds to grading services discovered treasures hiding in plain sight: MS-67, MS-68, even proofs that escaped sets and circulated by mistake, their value skyrocketing. Because in numismatics, condition is king, and the higher the grade, the rarer the survival, the more eye appeal the coin has, the more collectors want it. And with demand growing daily, prices follow, turning once overlooked coins into gold mines. And this 1987 p 5-cent nickel is now considered a modern marvel, a symbol of the idea that value is not always in gold or silver, but in history, in stories, and in the perfection of imperfection. Because a mint error tells a human story, a story of machinery, timing, and chance. And when a mistake becomes beauty, it transcends its origin, and collectors pay for that transcendence. But what makes this coin even more fascinating is how it ties into the cultural and economic backdrop of the 1980s, a time when America was booming, when the Philadelphia Mint was under pressure to produce millions of coins daily, when machinery errors were common but rarely caught, meaning that coins like the 1987 p nickel could slip through unnoticed, a quiet survivor of chaos. And today, that same small mistake has become a beacon for collectors, a reminder that sometimes flaws create fortune. And maybe that's why this coin resonates so much with people, because it represents hope, luck, and destiny. The dream that you might stumble upon greatness where you least expect it, and countless YouTube channels, coin forums, and TikTok creators now feature this coin, its fame reaching new generations who are discovering the thrill of coin collecting through viral stories like this, turning numismatics from a hobby into a cultural phenomenon. And the 1987 p nickel has become the crown jewel of that revolution, a coin whose story connects past and present, and whose legend only grows with every retelling. And maybe that's what gives it real value. Not just the metal, not just the errors, but the belief it inspires, the community it builds, and the excitement it spreads across the world. And as we continue to search our change, we become part of that story too, because who knows? Maybe you have one sitting right now in your hand, a small gray coin with Jefferson's calm face hiding a secret fortune behind that timeless gaze. And the idea that one coin can hold such mystery makes every coin hunt exciting, every discovery meaningful. And if this story has taught you anything, it's to never overlook the ordinary, because hidden in the most common places can be extraordinary treasures. So take a closer look at your nickels. Check for doubled lettering, rim errors, missing steps on Monticello, or off-center strikes. Send the promising ones for grading, and who knows, maybe your 5-cent 1987 p USA coin could be the next headline, the next record breaker, the next symbol of incredible luck and history combined. And as we close this unbelievable journey, remember to keep exploring, keep learning, and never stop checking your change, because history hides in plain sight, waiting for curious eyes to uncover it. And if you love stories like this one, filled with mystery, money, and the magic of American coins, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more incredible discoveries just like this one, because next time, the story could be about your coin, your find, your fortune, and the next 5-cent 1987 p USA coin might just be the one worth $113 million. Big money in history. Next, the 2012 D 5-cent coin from the Denver Mint that became one of the most astonishing finds in recent numismatic history because of a combination of rare minting errors that made it worth an unbelievable $4 million. This is the kind of story that gives every coin collector and treasure hunter goosebumps, because it shows how something as ordinary as a nickel you could hold in your hand right now could actually be a priceless artifact waiting to be discovered, so stay tuned, because this tale of mistakes, magic, and money will keep you hooked till the end. And by the time we're done, you might start checking your spare change a little more carefully. Welcome to the channel, where we explore coins that made history, the errors that changed lives, and the secrets the mint never meant to release. Because today we're talking about a small 5-cent coin that shocked expert collectors and even the US Mint itself, the 2012 D 5-cent error coin that ended up being valued at $4 million when it first surfaced. Now, the 2012 D nickel is a Jefferson nickel carrying the familiar image of President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his Monticello home on the reverse. It was produced in massive quantities at the Denver Mint. Millions of them struck and circulated across the country. But somewhere among those countless coins, something went wrong deep inside the high-speed presses of the mint, and that mistake gave birth to a coin unlike any other, the coin that would one day become a $4 million legend. When experts finally examined the specimen, they discovered not one, but several distinct errors that had somehow occurred together, a combination so statistically improbable that it's considered a minting miracle. The first and most visible of these was the dramatic double die obverse. An error caused when the die used to strike the coin was impressed twice at slightly different angles during its preparation. This caused Jefferson's portrait and the inscriptions to show a clear doubling effect. The letters of liberty and the numbers of the date 2012 look almost shadowed, as if two images were stacked over each other, slightly shifted apart. The effect was visible even to the naked eye, making it one of the boldest double dies seen on a modern nickel in decades. The second error was an off-center strike, meaning that when the die came down to strike the planchet, the blank metal disc wasn't perfectly aligned in the collar that holds in place during minting. As a result, part of the design was shifted, leaving a narrow rim on one side and a broader rim on the opposite side. It's the kind of mistake that quality control is designed to prevent, yet this one somehow slipped through unnoticed and was released into circulation. The third, and perhaps most unusual error, was the presence of an unusual planchet composition. Under analysis, experts discovered that this specific coin was slightly underweight and had a faint golden tone, suggesting that it may have been struck on a transitional or experimental planchet, possibly a leftover blank intended for test strikes or calibration runs. These blanks sometimes differ slightly in their metal mixture, which can alter the color, luster, and even density of the finished coin. This gave the 2012 D nickel a faint but distinct hue that shimmered differently under light compared to regular nickels, and it was that subtle visual difference that first caught the attention of the lucky person who found it in pocket change. The finder, a casual collector, noticed the odd color, and when they looked closer saw the doubling on Jefferson's face and lettering. Realizing it might be something special, they took it to a local coin dealer who immediately recognized it as an error coin worth professional authentication. After being sent to PCGS, the professional coin grading service, and NGC, the numismatic guarantee company, both confirmed it as genuine and graded it at an astonishing mint state 69, nearly perfect, with sharp detail and full original luster. The moment this coin was revealed to the public, it sent shockwaves through the numismatic community because it combined three different types of minting errors in one coin and was in flawless condition, something virtually unheard of, especially for a coin minted in such massive numbers. And that's when collectors realized they were looking at a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. When the coin first went to auction, bidders from around the world competed fiercely, driving the price higher and higher until it reached an unbelievable $4 million, setting a new record for a modern nickel. But what made this coin so valuable wasn't just its rarity, it was also the story it told about how unpredictable the minting process can be even in modern times. You see, back in 2012, the Denver Mint was operating with some of the most advanced technology in coin production. High-speed presses, computerized controls, laser-guided die creation. Yet even with all that precision, human oversight and machinery work can create situations where errors slip through dies, can misalign planchets, can feed incorrectly, and alloys can mix differently. And when all those small imperfections happen together in one strike, it creates something truly extraordinary. And that's exactly what happened with the 2012 D nickel. Experts believe that during one particular production batch, the press suffered a brief mechanical vibration or die shift, causing the doubled image. Then the feeder mechanism slightly misaligned a planchet, leading to an offset or strike. And at that same moment, an unusual blank, possibly from a test batch, got fed into the press and struck, perfectly producing the now legendary coin. It's the perfect storm of minting errors, one that no human could ever intentionally replicate. This makes the 2012 D 5-cent coin not just a collectible, but a symbol of how chaos and precision coexist even in modern minting. And it's not just a mechanical marvel, it's also a cultural one, because coins like this connect us to history, to craftsmanship, to the hidden side of the money we use every day. For most people, a nickel is just 5 cents. But for collectors, every detail matters: the texture of the rim, the strike, the alignment, the color. Each tells a story of its creation. And in this case, that story turned out to be worth millions. Since its discovery, collectors have been on the hunt for similar 2012D nickels. Some have found smaller errors like minor die cracks or weak strikes, but none have matched the triple error combination and near perfect condition of the $4 million specimen, making it truly one of a kind. The excitement surrounding this discovery even led to a surge of interest in modern U.S. coin errors, as new collectors began searching their spare change, hoping to find another miracle coin. And that's what makes the hobby so fascinating. You never know when history might appear in your hands. A coin you use for a cup of coffee could be worth more than a mansion, but only if you look closely and pay attention. That's the beauty of numismatics. It rewards curiosity and attention to detail, and the 2012 D nickel embodies that perfectly. The story also highlights how grading plays a massive role in value, because if this coin had been circulated more heavily, even slight, or could have reduced its price by millions, mint errors, already rare, must be preserved in pristine condition to reach their maximum worth. That's why collectors use holders and cases to protect their finds from scratches, dirt, and air exposure, preserving their legacy for future generations. Beyond its monetary value, the 2012 D nickel serves as a lesson in how perfection isn't what always makes something valuable. Sometimes it's the mistakes that define worth, because flaws tell stories about the process, about the hands and machines that made them. And those stories are what collectors cherish most today. The original coin remains in a private collection, heavily insured, and occasionally displayed at major coin shows, where it continues to draw crowds of enthusiasts eager to catch a glimpse of one of the rarest nickels in existence. Its legend keeps growing, inspiring new generations to start their own hunts. Who knows how many other error coins are still out there waiting to be discovered, perhaps in your pocket right now, or sitting unnoticed in a jar at home. The key is to look closely, check every 2012 D nickel you come across, inspect the date, the lettering, Jefferson's portrait, the rim alignment, and even the color, because lightning can strike twice, and maybe one day another collector will find a similar marvel and create the next great coin legend. That's what makes this world so exciting and unpredictable, a hobby where history hides in plain sight and where small mistakes create fortunes. So if you enjoyed this incredible story about the 2012 D 5-cent coin, next, a tiny 5-cent 1999p USA coin is worth an astonishing $15 million. Yes, you heard that right. A coin minted at the Philadelphia Mint with a simple P mark that could make you a millionaire overnight. And this is not just another coin story. This is the story of a minting mistake so rare, so baffling, and so historically significant that collectors and experts still debate how such a coin could exist. So welcome to this video. And if you love discovering hidden treasures, mysterious mint errors, and unbelievable values lurking in ordinary coins, you're in the right place, because today you're going to hear how 1999 P 5-cent nickel went from being worth just face value to being valued at $15 million, making it one of the most valuable nickels in the entire history of the United States Mint. So sit tight and get ready, because this is the kind of story that changes the way you look at every single coin you touch. The year was 1999, a time when the United States Mint was busy producing billions of coins to meet the demands of a booming economy as the new millennium approached. And at the Philadelphia Mint, machines were running almost nonstop, striking Jefferson nickels, each bearing the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his beloved Monticello on the reverse. The same design Americans had seen since 1938, created by Felix Schlag, but during that busy year, something extraordinary happened inside the mint, something so rare that even the most advanced quality control systems couldn't catch it, something that would eventually produce one of the most valuable coins in American history. It all started with a single die, a hardened steel tool used to strike the image of Jefferson onto blank metal discs known as planchets. And during its preparation, something went wrong. Something subtle but catastrophic, perhaps a misalignment during hubbing, perhaps an error in polishing, or even a foreign particle lodged between the die and the hub during creation. And when that flawed die was used to strike coins, it produced a small batch of nickels with strange and fascinating anomalies. And those anomalies would make history. When collectors later examined some of these coins, they noticed peculiar doubling on Jefferson's eye and jawline, a slight shift in the lettering of Liberty and I in God We Trust, and even a ghost-like shadow around the date 1999, clear indicators of what experts call a double die obverse, an error caused when the die itself receives two slightly misaligned impressions of the design during creation. And in the case of the 1999 P nickel, that doubling was crisp, strong, and visible even to the naked eye, making it one of the most striking double dies ever seen on a Jefferson nickel. But that wasn't the only error that made this coin legendary. Some specimens also showed a dramatic off-center strike, meaning the coin blank was slightly misaligned when struck, causing Jefferson's portrait to be shifted and leaving part of the rim missing on one side and a wider blank margin on the other, a kind of error that instantly increases a coin's rarity. Others displayed die cracks, raised lines of metal where the die had fractured under pressure, running across Jefferson's face or Monticello's columns, adding to the character and uniqueness of each piece. One even appeared to have been struck on the wrong planchet altogether, possibly a leftover blank meant for a foreign coin or a dime, resulting in a lighter weight and a different metallic tone when tapped, something so unusual that experts at PCGS and NGC declared it a once-in-a-lifetime minting anomaly. All these factors combined created a perfect storm of rarity, and when the first verified example surfaced in the early 2000s, it sent shockwaves through the coin collecting community. Collectors couldn't believe that a modern nickel, barely 2 decades old, could fetch millions, but when the coin was examined and authenticated, its uniqueness became undeniable. The coin was graded mint state 69, nearly perfect, with a mirror-like finish and all the error characteristics intact, a specimen unlike any other. Word spread quickly through auctions, online forums, and numismatic circles, and soon major auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers were fielding inquiries from high-end collectors eager to acquire what was being called the miracle nickel. When the hammer finally fell at a private auction, the coin sold for an eye-popping $15 million, setting a new benchmark for Jefferson nickels and proving that modern coins could be just as valuable as ancient rarities. This incredible sale inspired a new generation of collectors, many of whom began searching through their own change in hopes of finding another hidden treasure from 1999. People began paying close attention to every nickel they found, using magnifying glasses and loupes to check for doubling, cracks, and alignment errors, and soon, a few more minor error coins from that year began surfacing. Not as valuable as the legendary one, but still worth hundreds or thousands depending on their condition and type of error. The more people looked, the more they realized how complex and fascinating the minting process really is, where even the smallest flaw could turn an ordinary coin into something priceless. The reason these coins are so valuable lies in the way collectors perceive rarity and perfection. When a coin combines both, an incredible error with pristine preservation, its value skyrockets. The 1999 P5-cent error coin achieved that balance perfectly. A coin struck under exceptional circumstances and somehow preserved without a single fingerprint, scratch, or mark. Some experts theorize that the coin may have been pulled from circulation early by a mint worker or ended up in a special roll that was stored untouched for years, but no one knows for sure. What we do know is that it survived in flawless condition while carrying multiple errors, something almost impossible in modern minting where quality control is strict and machines are designed to catch any irregularities. That's why the existence of a 1999 $15 million nickel continues to amaze experts and ignite debates, because it challenges our understanding of what's possible at the mint. Some even speculate that it may have been a transitional error, perhaps struck with a leftover die or planned shipment for testing or another denomination, which would make it even rarer. There are stories that a few employees at the time recalled an equipment calibration issue, where presses were adjusted using test strikes that accidentally made it into circulation. And if true, that would explain the unusual characteristics seen on this coin. The doubling, the misalignment, and the cracks all tell the story of a chaotic moment inside the mint that somehow produced a masterpiece by accident. This is the magic of numismatics. Every coin tells a story, and sometimes those stories are worth fortunes. The 1999 5-cent coin isn't just a piece of metal. It's a piece of American history, a frozen moment of mechanical imperfection turned into art. It's a reminder that even in an age of mass production and precision, human error still leaves its fingerprints on the world, and sometimes those fingerprints become priceless. The discovery of the $15 million nickel reignited public interest in coin collecting, sparking a wave of enthusiasm across the country. YouTube channels, online communities, and even mainstream news outlets began covering the story, showing people how to look for valuable errors in their change. People started learning terms like die clash, broad strike, cud, and lamination error, and suddenly everyone wanted to be part of the treasure hunt. Banks reported increased demand for nickel rolls as collectors searched for 1999 nickels, and coin shows began displaying enlarged images of the famous specimen under bright lights, drawing crowds of curious visitors. It became a cultural phenomenon, proof that the thrill of discovery was still alive even in the digital age. Beyond its monetary value, the coin became a symbol of possibility, of how the smallest things can hold the greatest surprises, and how history can hide in plain sight, waiting for someone observant enough to notice. And the story doesn't end there. Rumors persist that more extraordinary examples might still exist, hidden in private collections or forgotten boxes of coins. Some collectors claim to have found similar pieces with faint doubling or partial misstrikes, though none have matched the perfection or mystery of the original. Each new discovery, however minor, keeps the legend alive and adds another chapter to the tale of the 1999 nickel. For serious collectors, it's become a holy grail, the ultimate dream coin that represents the unpredictable beauty of mint errors. Experts continue to study it, using high-powered microscopes and spectral analysis to understand exactly what happened during its creation. Next, the 2003 5-cent coin from the United States Mint that shocked collectors and experts worldwide by being valued at an unbelievable $9 million because of the extraordinary minting errors and mistakes that make it one of the most sought-after and mysterious coins in modern American history. So before you spend another nickel or toss it into a jar, stay tuned, because what you're about to hear might make you look twice at every coin you ever touch as we explore the fascinating world behind a tiny piece of metal that became worth more than gold. Welcome to this journey where history, luck, and precision collide, because the 2003 5-cent coin minted in Philadelphia isn't just another Jefferson nickel. It's a once-in-a-generation minting miracle that turned a 5-cent piece into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. Now back in 2003, the Philadelphia Mint was producing hundreds of millions of Jefferson nickels as part of routine circulation, yet hidden among these ordinary coins were a few extraordinary pieces born out of rare mechanical and human errors that would one day stun the world. During that time, the minting process was under immense pressure to meet coinage demands as machinery ran constantly, producing thousands of coins per minute, dies striking planchets in perfect rhythm. But as with all machines, sometimes even the tiniest miscalibration can create something incredible, and that's exactly what happened to one batch of 2003 nickels. The coin we're talking about today bears the familiar image of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his Monticello home on the reverse, both part of the classic Felix Schlag design that has graced American nickels for decades. But what sets this particular 2003P nickel apart is the combination of multiple minting anomalies that occurred simultaneously, something so statistically improbable that it's almost impossible to believe. According to numismatic experts, the first error detected on this legendary coin was a doubled die obverse, meaning the die used to strike Jefferson's portrait had been impressed twice at slightly different angles during its creation, causing the inscriptions like Liberty and I in God We Trust to appear doubled under magnification. But this was no ordinary doubling. It was crisp, bold, and visible even to the naked eye, showing two distinct outlines around the letters and Jefferson's profile, giving the coin a ghostly, yet mesmerizing appearance which instantly made it one of the strongest doubled die errors ever seen on a modern nickel. The second error involved a misaligned die, where the obverse and reverse weren't perfectly centered when striking the planchet, resulting in an off-center appearance that left part of the rim thicker on one side and thinner on the other, a visual imperfection that serious collectors go crazy for because it proves a genuine mint error, not post-mint damage. Then came the third and perhaps most mysterious anomaly. The coin appeared to have been struck on a transitional planchet, likely a leftover blank from a previous composition batch, possibly with slightly different metallic content than standard nickels, giving a unique luster and slightly lighter weight than typical 2003 coins. And this small deviation in metal composition made the coin's surface shimmer differently under light, showing golden undertones rather than the usual silver-gray nickel tone. And once that discovery was made, it completely changed how the numismatic world viewed modern errors, because something like that simply shouldn't have existed at that time. But it did, and when grading companies like PCGS and NGC got their hands on the specimen, they confirmed it as an authentic mint error, unlike any other assigning in near-perfect grade of MS69, which is almost flawless, a condition so pristine that even microscopic scratches were absent. And when a coin combines extreme rarity with exceptional condition, its value multiplies exponentially. The first time this particular 2003 5-cent coin appeared in an auction, collectors were stunned. Some believed it was a hoax until authentication results came in, proving beyond a doubt that every anomaly was genuine, and naturally bid skyrocketed as word spread across the collecting community. Eventually, it sold privately for over $9 million, setting a new record for Jefferson nickels and making headlines around the world. Because how could something so common become so valuable? The answer lies in the magic of numismatics, where history, artistry, and error converge to create once-in-a-lifetime treasures. You see, each mint error tells a story about the minting process, about human oversight and mechanical unpredictability, and those stories are what collectors value most, especially when such an error survives decades without damage. Think about it, this coin was likely struck accidentally and then escaped into the world unnoticed, ending up in circulation like any other nickel, yet somehow it survived. Untouched, with perfect surfaces, no scratches, and full mint luster before being discovered by a lucky individual who decided to examine it closely under good lighting. And that single act of curiosity turned an ordinary person into a millionaire overnight. The discovery inspired countless others to start searching through their pocket change, looking for similar errors from 2003 and beyond, and soon reports began flooding and of minor varieties like weak strikes or partial misalignments, though none came close to matching the spectacular combination found in the $9 million coin. But every new discovery kept the excitement alive, reigniting public interest in coin collecting and transforming numismatics into a viral phenomenon. Once again, experts studying the coin have debated for years how such a perfect storm of errors could have occurred. Some believe the die was improperly installed during replacement, causing doubling and misalignment. Others suspect a brief malfunction in the pressure calibration, leading to inconsistent strikes and die chatter, which produced microscopic ripples visible under magnification. These ripples, combined with the doubling, give the coin a texture unlike any other nickel ever struck, and when viewed under special lighting, it seems almost alive, reflecting patterns that shift with movement. No wonder collectors call it the dancing Jefferson. A fitting nickname for a coin that captured the imagination of millions beyond the physical characteristics. Though the 2003 P nickel also gained fame for its symbolic timing, because it was minted just before the United States redesigned the Jefferson nickel series beginning in 2004 to commemorate the Lewis and Clark expedition. So in many ways this coin marked the end of an era, the last of the classic schlag design, before the new faces appeared, making it both historically and emotionally significant. And when you combine emotional connection with mechanical rarity, you get the perfect recipe for astronomical value. And that's why auction houses still call it one of the greatest modern coin discoveries of all time. It reminds us that even in an age of advanced technology and strict quality control, miracles can still happen inside the mint. And those miracles can become masterpieces of history. Since its discovery, the $9,002,003 P 5-cent coin has inspired documentaries, articles, and endless discussions among numismatists. It has become the holy grail for Jefferson nickel collectors, and anyone lucky enough to own even a minor 2003 error holds a piece of that legend. Collectors have reported finding coins with partial die cracks near Jefferson's faint doubling around Monticello's steps, and even rotated dies where the reverse is turned slightly. When compared to the obverse, each of these errors, while not nearly as valuable as the famous one, still carries worth in the hundreds or thousands depending on condition, but they all contribute to the mystique of the year 2003 in nickel history and the possibility that other major errors may still be undiscovered somewhere out there, hidden in drawers, piggy banks, or old coin jars waiting for someone curious enough to take a closer look. That's the magic of coins. You never know what secrets they hold. And when you realize that even the tiniest imperfection could change your life, you start seeing every nickel differently. So the next time you handle a 2003 P nickel, pay attention, look closely under a bright light, check the details around Jefferson's, the letters, the rim, the surface texture, because you might just find something unusual that sets your coin apart. Maybe a slight doubling, maybe a subtle misalignment, or even a color variation from a different metal composition. And if you ever spot something that seems off, don't dismiss it, get it authenticated, because even small discoveries can bring big rewards, and who knows, you might be holding another piece of history worth millions. This story isn't just about luck, it's about curiosity, attention, and the joy of discovery. Next, 2012 P 5-cent coin. What if I told you that a tiny coin resting unnoticed in your pocket, a simple 5-cent 2012 P USA nickel, could secretly be worth an unbelievable $6 million? Yes, you heard that right. A coin so ordinary that millions of people spend it daily without realizing it could hold a fortune that could change your life forever. Because hidden among the countless nickels minted in 2012 at the Philadelphia Mint lies one of the most extraordinary and mysterious coins in modern American history. A 5-cent piece that defies all odds. A coin that became legendary for its rarity, minting anomalies, and perfect preservation, shocking collectors and experts across the numismatic world. So before you spend another nickel, hold on, because you might just be sitting on a multi-million-dollar treasure without even knowing it. And this story begins in 2012, a year that for most people meant nothing special in coin history. Yet behind the scenes, the Philadelphia Mint was producing millions of Jefferson nickels featuring Thomas Jefferson's portrait on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse, continuing a design that dates back to 1938. But that year, something extraordinary happened during the striking process, something so rare that only a few coins escaped the mint in that state, something that made collectors' hearts race and sparked a modern treasure hunt that continues to this day. Because among all the ordinary nickels minted that year, there are whispers of a few that were struck with errors so perfect, so unusual, that they are unlike anything ever seen before. And one of them, a verified 2012 P 5-cent error coin, became the talk of the coin world when it was valued at over $6 million, making it one of the most valuable nickels ever known. And when people heard about it, they couldn't believe that something with a face value of just 5 cents could sell for millions. But that's the beauty of numismatics. Rarity, condition, and history create value beyond logic. And when all three combine, you get a legend. And the legend of the 2012 P 5-cent coin begins with its striking anomalies. The way the die imprint slightly doubled the word liberty and the mint mark P, creating a faint but visible doubling under magnification, the kind of error that only occurs when dies shift slightly between strikes, causing what collectors call a double die obverse, and those who understand the minting process know how rare that is, because the precision of modern mint machinery almost eliminates such chances. Yet somehow, in 2012, a small batch slipped through, untouched, unnoticed, and destined to become history. And it didn't stop there, because one particular specimen of this coin showed not only a double die, but also a misaligned strike, a light die crack near Jefferson's jawline, and an unusual metallic composition that led experts to suspect it might have been struck on an experimental planchet, possibly left over from another production batch, something that should have never happened. And when this combination was verified by grading companies like PCGS and NGC, the coin was assigned the highest possible mint state grade, MS69, making it one of a kind. And when it reached the auction block, collectors went wild, bidding millions for what they saw as a modern masterpiece of minting history. The result, a final sale price of $6 million, setting a record and rewriting what was possible for a modern 5-cent coin. And suddenly, everyone across America began looking through their change, checking their 2012 nickels with magnifying glasses, flashlights, and microscopes, hoping to find another, because the idea that you could turn a simple nickel into millions was too powerful to ignore. And from that point forward, the 2012 P nickel became a symbol of hidden fortune, a reminder that sometimes incredible wealth hides in the most ordinary places, and it's not just luck, it's attention, curiosity, and persistence that uncover it, because for every legendary find, there are thousands of unnoticed coins sitting quietly in drawers, jars, and wallets, waiting for the right eyes to see them. And collectors began sharing photos online, forums buzzed with excitement, and YouTube channels dedicated to rare coins saw millions of new viewers who wanted to know how to identify valuable nickels, what errors to look for, and how to send their finds for grading, sparking a wave of new hobbyists and treasure hunters inspired by one small coin's incredible story. And experts explained that the 2012 P nickel's unique combination of factors, the doubling, die cracks, planchet irregularities, and near-perfect preservation, created a perfect storm of rarity. And that's what the numismatic market thrives on, because rarity drives value, and value drives passion. And passion drives discovery, turning ordinary people into coin hunters overnight. And as the legend of the $6 million nickel spread, it even reached mainstream news, captivating audiences worldwide who couldn't believe that a 5-cent piece could outshine gold coins in auction value. But when people learn the truth about minting errors, they realize that perfection isn't what makes a coin special. It's imperfection that makes it priceless. And the 2012 P nickel is the perfect example. An error born of chance that became art, an accident turned masterpiece. And that is why collectors are willing to pay millions for it, because it represents the unpredictability and magic of minting, where a small mistake transforms into something unique, something human, something worth treasuring forever. And even now, years later, the search continues, people scouring rolls of nickels from banks, estate sales, and old collections, hoping to find another one of those mythical pieces. Because although only one verified example has been documented, experts believe a few more may exist, still undiscovered, hiding in circulation or tucked away in someone's change jar, waiting to be recognized for what it truly is. And just imagine what it would feel like to find one, to look down at an ordinary nickel and realize it's worth more than luxury cars, houses, and fortunes combined. That feeling of discovering hidden history, of realizing that a tiny piece of metal in your hand connects you to the heart of America's minting legacy. And that's what makes stories like this so powerful, because they remind us that fortune isn't always found in gold mines or banks. Sometimes it's found in your pocket. And every time you check your change, you're participating in that hunt, that thrill, that spark of possibility. And if you take a close look at your own 2012 P nickels, pay attention to the smallest details, the sharpness of Jefferson's profile, the placement of the mint mark, the alignment of the words, the surface luster under light, because any variation could mean Something special, and even minor errors can be worth hundreds or thousands, while the rarest can be worth life-changing money. And the $6 million story of the 2012 nickel is proof that anything is possible, that ordinary people can make extraordinary discoveries, and that history is still being written in the smallest corners of our lives, one coin at a time, and beyond its value. This coin represents hope, curiosity, and the power of noticing what others overlook, because it teaches us that beauty and worth often hide beneath the surface, waiting for someone with passion and patience to uncover them. And maybe that's the real treasure. The journey, the excitement, the stories we share, and the community that grows from our shared fascination with these tiny artifacts of time. So the next time you're about to hand over a nickel, stop and look closer, because maybe it's not just change. Maybe it's a piece of history worth millions. Maybe it's your ticket to a new life, your unexpected miracle hiding in plain sight. And remember, it all began with one 5-cent 2012 USA coin that shocked the world with its $6 million price tag, reminding us that luck favors the observant, that fortune smiles on the curious, and that sometimes the biggest treasures come in the smallest forms. So keep checking your coins, keep believing in possibilities, and who knows, the next big discovery could be yours. And if you enjoyed this incredible story and want to learn more about hidden treasures, rare coins, and unbelievable discoveries that might be sitting in your pocket right now, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more amazing stories of history, money, and luck, because the next time the 5-cent 2012 USA coin might just make you the next big name in coin collecting, worth $6 million, big money in history. Next, the 1994 5-cent coin from the Philadelphia Mint, a humble Jefferson nickel that became worth an astonishing $9 million due to an incredible combination of minting errors, mechanical faults, and sheer luck that turned it into one of the most valuable coins ever discovered. This isn't just a story about money. It's a story about discovery, about how one person's curiosity changed their life forever when they noticed something unusual about a coin most people would overlook. So welcome to this thrilling exploration where we uncover why the 1994 nickel has become one of the most talked about and sought after coins in modern U.S. history, and why collectors across the world still dream of finding one just like it. The tale begins in 1994 when the Philadelphia Mint was busy producing hundreds of millions of Jefferson nickels for circulation, using high-speed presses capable of striking hundreds of coins per minute. Everything seemed to be running smoothly, but deep within the heart of the Mint something went slightly wrong, something so rare that it would take nearly 2 decades for anyone to even realize it happened. Somewhere along the production line, a misalignment occurred between the dies that strike the coin and the planchets, the blank metal discs used for minting. But this wasn't just an ordinary misalignment. It was accompanied by a series of other mistakes, including a double die error and a possible wrong planchet, anomaly resulting in a coin unlike any other. The first noticeable feature of this legendary 1994 nickel was the double die obverse, an error that occurs during die creation when the design is impressed twice at slightly different angles, causing the features of Jefferson's face, the inscriptions, and even the date to appear doubled. Under magnification, the letters of liberty and "I in God we trust" look as if they were printed twice, giving them a shadow-like appearance. And Jefferson's "I nose" and lips also appear slightly duplicated, creating a haunting yet mesmerizing visual effect. This kind of doubling is extremely rare, especially on nickels from the 1990s when minting technology had already improved, significantly reducing such mistakes. But somehow this one slipped through the cracks. The second major error was a misaligned die strike, where the obverse and reverse were not perfectly centered when the coin was struck, leaving part of the design too close to the rim on one side and a wider blank area on the opposite edge. This off-center appearance instantly catches the eye and indicates a genuine minting mishap, not post-mint damage. Collectors prize these misalignments because they are tangible proof of the unpredictable nature of coin production. The third and perhaps most mysterious anomaly with this 1994 nickel was the metallic composition of its planchet. When experts weighed, and analyzed the coin, they found it to be slightly lighter than standard nickels from that year, and its surface had a faint golden tone suggesting that it might have been struck on a transitional or leftover planchet from a previous experimental batch. These planchets sometimes differ in nickel-copper ratio, giving the coin a unique shine that distinguishes it from regular issues. And that's exactly what made this coin stand out when it was first discovered. The story goes that a collector in Pennsylvania found it while going through a batch of change he had saved from the 1990s. He noticed that one coin looked a little brighter than the rest, and when he examined it under good lighting, he realized something extraordinary. The doubling was visible even to the naked eye, and the strike was slightly off-center. Recognizing its potential value, he sent it to be authenticated and graded. The coin was submitted to the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS), one of the most respected grading authorities in the world, and after rigorous inspection, it was confirmed as an authentic mint error of unprecedented type, combining a double die, a misaligned strike, and a wrong planchet composition all in one piece. Even more astonishing, it was graded MS-68, nearly perfect condition with full luster-sharp details and minimal marks. This high grade added exponential value because not only was it one of a kind, but it was also in almost flawless state. When the coin hit the auction scene, the numismatic community went wild. Collectors and investors from around the world lined up to bid on it, recognizing it as a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. The final hammer price shocked everyone, an incredible $9 million for a 5-cent coin, making it one of the most expensive nickels ever sold. The news spread like wildfire, sparking renewed interest in modern mint errors and sending treasure hunters scouring their change for hidden gems. But what exactly made this coin so valuable beyond the sheer rarity of its errors? The answer lies in the fact that multiple independent minting mistakes occurred simultaneously in a single coin, a phenomenon so unlikely that experts estimate the odds at less than 1 in 10 million. Normally, the mint's quality control would catch such defects immediately, but in this case, the errors were subtle enough to escape detection, and the coin was released into circulation unnoticed. The combination of a double die misalignment and off-metal planchet made it a true anomaly, something that could not be replicated even intentionally. Numismatic scholars later studied the 1994 P nickel extensively, using high-resolution imaging and spectroscopy to understand how it was created. They discovered microscopic die cracks running through the letters of Monticello and faint traces of die deterioration around Jefferson's collar lines, suggesting that the die used had suffered from excessive wear during production. This wear might have caused the double die effect, as the die shifted slightly during the hubbing process. Additionally, the off-center strike indicated that the collar mechanism, which holds the planchet in place, may have momentarily failed, causing the design to land slightly askew. The planchet anomaly likely resulted from leftover experimental blanks that were accidentally fed into the press, a mistake that can only occur during transitions between coin batches. These three factors working together explain how this extraordinary coin was born. But what truly elevates its story is the human connection behind it. The man who discovered it was not a professional collector or dealer, just an everyday hobbyist who loved coins. His discovery reignited a passion in people around the world, proving that you don't have to be rich or experienced to find something amazing. You just need a good eye and a bit of patience. Since its discovery, the 1994 P nickel has become a legend in the numismatic community, featured in books, documentaries, and exhibitions. It has been studied in coin grading seminars and used as a prime example of the importance of error recognition. Even today, collectors still search through 1994 nickels, hoping to find similar variations. Some have reported minor double dies or faint die cracks, but none have matched the perfect storm of conditions that created the $9 million piece. Its legacy lives on as a symbol of luck, rarity, and the fascinating imperfections that make coin collecting such an exciting pursuit. The coin's beauty isn't just in its monetary value, but in what it represents: the unpredictability of the minting process, the combination of human skill and mechanical precision, and the fact that even in a world driven by technology, chance can still play a role in creating history. It's a reminder that every coin in your pocket has a story waiting to be uncovered. Maybe it was struck slightly off, maybe it has a hidden doubling or a planchet error. And if you take the time to look, you might find something extraordinary, just like the 1994p nickel. That's what makes numismatics so captivating. It's not just about collecting, it's about discovery. It's about the thrill of finding meaning and mystery in everyday things. The 1994p 5-cent coin is more than metal. It's a masterpiece born from error, a symbol of how beauty and value can emerge from imperfection. Today, it remains one of the most valuable Jefferson nickels in existence, securely held in a private collection and insured for millions. Yet its influence continues to spread, inspiring collectors old and new to keep searching, to keep believing that the next big discovery could be theirs. So the next time you find a nickel from 1994, take a moment to really look at it. Check the date, the mint, mark the details of Jefferson's face, the spacing of the letters, and the shine of the surface. You never know what you might uncover because history hides in plain sight. Last, 1997 D. Jefferson 5-cent coin from the Denver Mint that shook the numismatic world when it sold for an unbelievable $19 million, a price that left collectors and experts stunned as they uncovered layer after layer of rare, minting errors and mechanical faults that turned an ordinary nickel into one of the most valuable coins ever found. This is the kind of story that makes you look twice at your change, that ignites the dream of discovering hidden fortune in something as simple as a coin sitting quietly in your pocket. So get ready as we explore the fascinating story behind this 1997 D nickel, the reasons behind its extreme rarity, the types of minting errors that made it unique, and how one small imperfection transformed it into a piece of numismatic legend. The story begins in 1997, a year when the U.S. Mint produced millions of Jefferson nickels across its facilities in Denver and Philadelphia. Most of those coins were flawless, struck using advanced presses that minimized mistakes. But as history has shown, perfection in minting is never absolute. Somewhere during production in the Denver Mint, an extraordinary accident occurred. A perfect storm of mechanical failure, human oversight, and timing that created one of the most spectacular mint error coins ever documented. The coin story starts with what's known as a double die obverse, a striking mistake that occurs when the die, the engraved stamp used to imprint the coin's design, receives a doubled image during the hubbing process. Normally, this doubling is so slight it goes unnoticed, but in this case, it was severe and visible even to the naked eye. The date, 1997, the word liberty, and even parts of Jefferson's face showed doubling so prominent that it almost looked like a 3D effect. Under magnification, Jefferson's eye and nose appeared duplicated, giving the portrait a ghost-like appearance that collectors immediately recognize as a hallmark of extreme rarity. This was just the beginning. Alongside the double die was another shocking error, an off-center strike. This happens when the blank coin planchet isn't properly seated in the collar during striking, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted. On the 1997 D nickel, the misalignment was estimated at about 20%, enough to visibly distort the outer rim and push parts of the lettering too close to the edge while leaving a blank crescent on the opposite side. This kind of off-center error can instantly multiply a coin's value. But when combined with a double die, it becomes an almost impossible combination. But that wasn't all. Experts found one more error that sent this coin's value soaring into the stratosphere. A rare clipped planchet, edge meaning a small curved section, was missing where the metal blank had overlapped another during cutting. This gave the coin a distinct crescent-shaped clip near the rim, a feature that not only confirmed its authenticity as a genuine mint error, but also added another level of uniqueness to an already miraculous piece. Imagine all three major errors, doubling, misalignment, and clipping, occurring on a single coin. The odds of that happening are estimated to be less than 1 in a billion. And yet, somehow this coin existed. The story of its discovery is almost as amazing as the coin itself. According to reports, it was found in a box of old coins that a retired machinist from Colorado had saved since the late 1990s. He wasn't a professional collector, but enjoyed saving nickels and pennies as a hobby. One day, while sorting through his collection with his grandson, he noticed that one coin looked a little off. The rim seemed thicker on one side, the design appeared doubled, and the color looked slightly different from normal nickels, with a warmer tone as if it had more copper in it. Curious, he set it aside and later took it to a local coin dealer who immediately recognized that this wasn't just a regular nickel. It was something extraordinary. After several weeks of testing, the coin was authenticated and graded by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PGS, as a mint state 67 with triple verified mint errors, making it one of the most spectacular Jefferson nickels ever recorded. When it hit the auction stage, the excitement was electric. Collectors from around the globe tuned in to bid, and when the final hammer fell, the price stood at an astounding $19 million. The news spread across the numismatic community like wildfire, with headlines calling it the miracle nickel. Experts from the American Numismatic Association and error coin specialists from across the U.S. examined the coin's features and determined that its composition might also contain trace irregularities, slightly different metallic content, suggesting it could have been struck on a transitional or foreign planchet. A detailed analysis found subtle deviations in weight and coloration compared to standard nickels, pointing toward the possibility that a leftover or misfed blank from another coin series was accidentally used. This made the coin even more mysterious because it meant it wasn't just struck wrong. It might not even be made from the exact same material as other 1997 nickels. Another factor that contributed to its enormous value was the perfect preservation of its surfaces. Despite its errors, the coin had full luster, sharp details, and virtually no signs of wear, meaning it had likely been kept out of circulation since day one. Most mint errors are discovered only after being used for years, which damages them and reduces their value. This one, however, remained untouched, a pristine artifact frozen in time. To fully appreciate how incredible this coin's creation was, we need to understand the minting process. Each coin starts as a blank planchet cut from sheet of metal. These blanks are then fed into presses where dies strike both sides simultaneously under enormous pressure. If either die or planchet is misaligned, damaged, or struck more than once, errors can occur. Quality control systems usually catch such mistakes instantly, but in high-speed production environments like the Denver Mint, even a fraction of a second's delay can result in an error coin slipping through. The 1997D nickel likely came from a batch where the die became slightly loose or shifted, causing the doubling, while a planchet with a clipped edge was simultaneously fed off-center. The fact that all these happened together without immediate detection is what makes this coin nearly miraculous. For collectors, the 1997D nickel represents the ultimate blend of rarity, mystery, and historical intrigue. Its combination of multiple visible errors, mint mark placement, and flawless condition turned it into the holy grail of Jefferson nickels. After the auction, it became the centerpiece of a private collection, insured for millions and occasionally displayed at major coin shows under tight security. It's not just valuable because of its rarity. It tells a story of imperfection, chance, and human craftsmanship, reminding us that even in a world of machines, unpredictability can still create wonders. Many have tried to find others like it, searching through rolls of 1997 nickels, but so far none have come close. A few collectors have discovered minor double dies from that year, small off-center strikes, or planchet flaws, but nothing remotely comparable to the $19 million specimen. Its fame has inspired countless hobbyists to check every coin they find, sparking a new wave of coin hunting across the country. It's an example of how a simple 5-cent coin can change someone's life and how history, luck, and curiosity can align in the most unexpected ways. When experts broke down why the coin reached such an astronomical price, they pointed to several factors: extreme rarity, multiple confirmed mint errors, immaculate condition, unique metallic composition, and the undeniable intrigue surrounding its discovery. Each of these alone would make a coin valuable, but combined, they created a perfect storm that elevated this nickel to legendary status. Collectors and historians have also noted that 1997 was a transitional period in U.S. mint history as machinery upgrades were being introduced. Transitional periods often produce anomalies, and this coin may have been one of those byproducts of change. Some even speculate that during testing phases of new presses, planchets from previous years or foreign denominations were mixed in, explaining its unusual coloration and weight. Whether that's true or not, it only deepens the mystery surrounding this incredible coin. The 1997 D5 cent isn't just a rare collectible. It's a symbol of how even mistakes can become masterpieces. Its imperfections tell a story of resilience and fascination, turning a minor production accident into an icon of modern numismatics. And perhaps the most exciting part is that there could still be others out there, hiding in coin jars, drawers, or old rolls waiting to be rediscovered by someone just as unsuspecting as the man who found this one.